Welcome back to my series, The Bible Doesn't Make Any Sense. Today's episode is going to be a little different, because today we're not going over what's in the Bible, we're going over what's not in it. Because when I saw your comment, I started thinking, when was Satan in heaven with God? Couldn't be in Genesis when God created the earth and all of everything else. So I started to dig a little deeper. Guess what? This story of Satan wanting to be like God and God kicking him out of heaven is nowhere in the Bible. That's right. Just give it a second to marinate. This story, nowhere in the Bible. It's mentioned in the Bible, symbolically, but the actual story and Satan's reasoning for being kicked out is never, not once recorded. This website here says Satan's fall from heaven was symbolically described in Isaiah 14:12-14 and Ezekiel 28:12-18. While these two passages are referring specifically to the kings of Babylon and Tyre, we believe that they also reference a spiritual power behind those kings, namely Satan, which doesn't make sense for two reasons. One, that's a bold accusation to take these kings and link them directly to Satan, and not like King David or somebody who was out here murking folks on a regular. But if these were a reference to the spiritual power of Satan, then where is Satan's origin story? Wouldn't it make sense that this entire book that is trying to tell you to stay away from this one individual, that this book would tell you in detail exactly what happened to that individual? It also never says in the Bible when this occurred, because in the beginning there was nothing, right? Genesis 1, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Not one time is Satan mentioned in any of this. If Satan is depicted as a serpent in the beginning of Genesis, then where is his original origin story? I was taught as a Christian that Satan was in heaven with God and he was an angel and then he wanted to be better than God, and so God kicked him out of heaven and sent him to hell. Where is that in the Bible? It's not. Also, does anyone else think that it's a little funny that he says in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and then he goes into detail about how he created the earth but never says shit about how he created the heavens? Who was there? Where are the angels? Was God by himself? Did he create the angels? I have so many fucking questions. And if he created the angels, that means he technically created Satan, right? So if he created Satan, wouldn't he know exactly what was going to happen? You know, because he's all-knowing and such. When I tell you I found this information out like 20 minutes ago, and now it makes me wonder, how many things were we taught in church that are actually not in the Bible any fucking where? And we just believe that it is because our pastor told us that it was. I never not once went to go and look in the Bible to try to find Satan's origin story or when he got kicked out of heaven. Don't you think that would be important things to document in this Bible? Also, apparently Jesus witnessed Satan's fall, and he mentions it in Luke 10:18. I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. How would Jesus see that if he wasn't born yet? This is when that whole is Jesus God or are they two separate entities argument pops back up. Because if you argue that God wrapped himself in flesh and sent himself to heaven, and that's how he saw that Satan fell from the heavens back whenever it happened, then that means that garden scene where Jesus is asking God to save him from being crucified, it's actually God asking God to save God from the thing that God said that God had to do, which that doesn't make any fucking sense. If Jesus was a physical being, a actual human that was born from Mary, there's no possible way that he could have saw Satan fall from heaven. Was Satan already there when God created the heavens and the earth? And if he was, what the fuck was his purpose? If he went bad and went rogue against God, why is that not documented? I need answers.